All right, I'm about to be 100% real with all of you. This is only stuff that I actually talk to my therapist about. I don't even talk to my family about this stuff. Well, maybe my mom a little bit, but 28 years old. Went through a breakup about a month ago. Last month, been feeling pretty lonely, even though I got my family nearby. But when you lose that sense of companionship, this sucks. But it also showcases your insecurities when you're not, when you're not with somebody. So how comfortable am I being alone with myself? It's tough. It's tough. Especially, the whole pandemic these last 2 years, it's been pretty insane. So some of the things that I'm learning about myself is that, I don't know how comfortable I am being alone. I'm getting better. I know that the trick is to stay busy, stay on your grind, stay on your purpose. I would suggest looking at a ton of videos online on how to get yourself back on your feet. Start hustling. Start going towards your goals. You also have to remember that no woman can define you. You should be okay on your own. A woman is there only to compliment you. She's not there to support you. You're on your own, regardless if you're with somebody or not. One of the things that I learned growing up was that obviously life isn't fair. Life is going to throw you curveballs. But one of the most important lessons that I've learned is that life is extremely cruel. And how is life extremely cruel? Well, finances, that's easy. Finances is easy. Finances is an easy problem to fix, believe it or not. Anybody can make money. Making money is easy. What's difficult is keeping your mind on track, is keeping yourself out of depression, keeping yourself out of, bad anxiety. That's tough. That's something that life throws at you. You have to really think about this, because when emotions are involved, especially with such an emotional guy as myself, believe it or not, I am very emotional. You start making decisions based off of emotion instead of logic. And that is a huge mistake, because I've been making that mistake for so many years already, and it's put me in the same exact spot with my relationships, with my trust issues, with my self-esteem issues, with my self-worth issues. You have to let go of emotional reasoning. And how do you do this? There's more than one outcome. There's always more than one outcome. This is how you beat emotional reasoning. This is how you start thinking logically. There is always more than one outcome. So, for example, for me, when it comes down to dating and meeting new women and stuff like that, I usually talk down to myself in my own head. I'm like, oh, you have no chance with this girl. You have no chance, right? I never look at the other options, at the other outcomes. You do have a chance. Oh yeah, you can go for her. There's more than one outcome, guys. There's not just one outcome. Just like in mathematics, right? 1 + 1 = 2. But what happens when you start using imaginary numbers? Then you get 1 + 1 = 3. There's always more than one outcome. That's the funny part about life. And that's something that we have to understand as human beings, is that our emotions cannot run our decision making. It cannot. So when you meet a girl for the first time and you're like me and you wear your heart on your sleeve and stuff like that, you have to understand one main thing. You need to keep yourself in check. You need to leave emotions at the door. And especially if you're meeting this person for the first time, logically look at the signs that tell you whether or not she's worthy of you. The first date, the first impression, very important. She needs to impress you. Stop putting her on the pedestal thinking that you have to impress her. No, she has to impress you. You're a high value male, so she has to impress you. Growing up as a guy, believe it or not, you've been brainwashed. I've been brainwashed. Every guy has been brainwashed. If you've been watching Disney movies, if you've been listening to your mom or your dad saying that, oh yeah, you should get married, you should buy a house, have kids. You know, Disney movies have been really pushing that lately as well. Oh, princess, the prince. They both have to love each other, fall in love with each other. But at the end of the day, who ends up on top? You or the girl? It's the girl that ends up on top. You're the one kneeling, giving her the ring. You're the one always submitting to what she says because you're scared to lose her. These are such irrational fears. I've been scared of losing each one of my girlfriends, and that's why I've been making such bad decisions. I've been using emotional reasoning. This is the twist. As soon as a girl that you're dating, or actually any girl in general, sees that you have some emotional discomfort, they pick up on it. You don't even have to say anything. Women are very intuitive with picking up things, you know, with just energy. They're very intuitive with their energy. They can sense what you're doing. You don't have to say anything. You can just be around them and they can feel it. Okay? A huge advantage that women have over guys is that they're much more intuitive than we are. So you have to understand one thing. You know, logical reasoning must prevail in your decision making. The last 5 girls I've dated, I did not think logically. I only thought emotionally, and it put me in the same bad, stupid position each and every single time where I was constantly let down. Constantly let down. Yeah, I've dated girls with a lot of personality disorders, but because of my emotions told me to go after them. My emotions told me that I can save them. My emotions told me that I should be worshiping them. I should be putting them on the pedestal. I should be kneeling for them. No. No. You are a high value human being. Act like it. Be like it. I'm done being a pushover. And so are you. You're done being a pushover. After you watch this video, you are not going to be a pushover anymore. You're going to stand up for yourself. If you're dating a girl and she does something that you don't like, you tell her straight up. The last girl I was dating, you know, the girl that we parted ways with, that I parted ways with a month ago, she did these little things, like she would leave trash all over the place. She wouldn't clean up after herself. And instead of me telling her what I actually thought, I was like, okay, I'm not a clean freak or anything, but I like to have a clean house. Okay? And she's a guest in my house, spending the night. She's a freaking guest in my house. She needs to respect where I live. And she wouldn't take off her shoes when she went upstairs on the carpet. She even asked me, this is how beta I was. She even asked me, hey Josh, do you mind if I leave my shoes on? And in my heart, I was like, no, take them off. I hate dirt on the carpet. I said, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. And I resented saying that. You know why? You know why I didn't tell her the truth? Because I was scared of what she would think if I told her no. Me, a high-value male, scared of what a woman thinks of me. I make good money. I own my property. I own where I live. I mean, I drive a nice car. Financially stable. Have a good relationship with my family. I'm healthy. I work out. Go to the gym at least 5 times a week. And I bust my ass every day. Who is this person to walk all over me? I'm letting her do that. I'm giving her the power. And so are you. No more kneeling, guys. No more submitting. And just like my shirt says, I don't know if it's in reverse because I'm shooting this on my phone, but it says be alpha. You got to be alpha. Shout out to Steph is Cold, Alpha Male Strategies. I'm going to link their channels in the video because they help motivate me to get back on my grind, get back on my purpose. Darius M is another great channel. Thank you, Darius. Those guys will help you delete the beta mindset and start moving towards the purple and the red pill mindset. And really quick, for those of you who don't know, the blue pill is the beta mindset. Purple pill is the in-between between beta and alpha. Alpha, you're the king. No one can mess with you. You're on your grind. You're tunnel vision. You're focused. A woman will only compliment you, but she will never stand in your way. You come first, not her. Your happiness comes first. Your grind comes first. Your work comes first, not her. She's only there to compliment you. I have a really good friend who lives in Kentucky, and I haven't really disclosed this. I run another YouTube channel on filmmaking, but when I started, when I was 19, 20 years old, I worked with a lot of dating coaches. This is just, the business I was in. This is how I started my entrepreneurial journey. I worked with a lot of dating coaches. I was filming a lot of their content for their YouTube channels. And I met this one guy in Kentucky. Yes, Kentucky. Hardcore red pill guy. He has 5 girls in his rotation minimum. He's in his 60s, man. He's a farm boy in Kentucky. 5 girls in his rotation. And he tells me, he slept with hundreds and hundreds of women. And he told me, he straight up tells me, he's like, women are backwards. Women are, trying to understand them is a lot simpler than you think. You just gotta get rid of that brainwash that we grew up with. Those Disney movies, what our parents told us about what women want. It's not true. It's all not true. So he's telling me all these things. And the number one thing he told me, he looks at me in the eyes and he says, Josh, the one thing you got to remember is that you're the freaking man. The only sacrifices you should be making every now and then shouldn't have to put your life on the back burner, your life on pause. Every decision that I made has put me in the passenger seat. Every single decision. When I've been in a relationship, I've always been in the passenger seat. Never once have I touched the steering wheel. But anyway, the guy from Kentucky, hundreds of women he slept with, and believe it or not, he did come out of a marriage. I'm not going to go into that because that's his private life, but he started realizing female nature, and it's, they want the bad guy. They don't want to be treated like royalty. They want to be treated just like some girl. They don't want to be treated like queens. If you go on TikTok, Instagram, all these girls say that they want the nice guy. They want the charmer. They want to be spoiled. You should never spoil your girl. Every now and again, okay, at dinner, whatever. Buying her jewelry all the time, flowers, chocolate, nah. In our hearts, yes, it feels good to spoil somebody, to buy them whatever they want. But subconsciously, these girls don't want that. Because if they see that they can get so much out of you, they will realize that you're not a challenge. And when they realize that you're not a challenge, they're going to go and seek out other options. And I'm starting to realize this now. There's just so many things that you can't do as a man that we were raised to think that we should do. Text a girl every morning. Good morning, baby. How are you? Every night. Good night, baby. I love you. Text her throughout the day. Hey, babe. How you doing? No. You need to remain a mystery to your girl. You need to refrain from constantly calling her, texting her. The less you do, the more you do. The less you do, the more you do. There's so many marriages I'm currently witnessing in my life. So many. Every man in that marriage is the beta. Have you ever noticed that when you go to a family member's house, an older family member, they've been married 20, 30, 40 years, and they always pull you aside and they're like, Josh, or they pull you aside and they say, hey man, listen, never get married. How many times have you heard that from an elder that said, never get married? Even some say never have kids. How many times have you heard that? I've heard that at least 5 times from these elders. 5 times. From the same elder. I've heard it from my grandfather. He said never get married. My own grandfather told me that. He's been married for over 50 years, 55 years. We are in a different time, guys. Marriage is a prison. I see it all around me. I see every marriage around me. Yeah, you have the honeymoon phase, the actual honeymoon. Once you start getting into 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of marriage, you're in the passenger seat, man. You're handcuffed in the passenger seat. You get a divorce, you're paying alimony. If you have kids, you're paying child support. Marriage favors the woman. The engagement ring, you have to spend 3 months' pay on an engagement ring. Society is dumbing down the male community, the male gender. I refuse to contribute to that. You are the catch. If you're a high-value male that's on your purpose, you are the catch. That's it. You are the catch. This is not something that society will teach us. This is something that's in our DNA, guys. In our DNA. Look at lions at the zoo. Look at apes at the zoo. Look at what they're doing. We're animals at the end of the day, guys. We have a frontal lobe. That's the difference. We can process emotion. We have critical thinking skills. But our DNA, our instincts, our animal instincts are still there. And what society has done is that they're trying to cover up our animal instincts. You cannot forget this. You cannot forget this, guys. You're the catch. And if you don't believe me, I want you to take out a sheet of paper and write down all of the things that you bring to the table. And if you're in a relationship, I want you to write all the things that she brings to the table. I guarantee you that you bring way more than she does. Until you meet a girl that brings just as much as you do to the table, you're not going to be happy in a relationship, man. Every girl that I dated, I brought so much value to the relationship, and I didn't realize this until months or even years after the relationship ended. And it made me feel like a complete idiot, I'll be honest. In all of my relationships, this is what I brought to the table. I brought security, financial stability, business advice, because I work in the entertainment industry, and the girls that I dated also did as well. And I tried to show them that they don't need an agency to do acting or modeling. They can do their own thing on social media. And on top of that, I showed them how to monetize what they publish, so they can make their own money without having to worry about looking for a 9-to-5 job. I showed them how to do all of this because this is what I do for a living, okay? I monetize my work. I make my own money without a 9-to-5 job. I mean, I brought all of this to the table. And believe it or not, the girls that I showed this to, they never executed it, and they continued to complain about how little money that they're making. So even though I brought so much to the table, they never even implemented what I brought to the table. And as a man, if you bring so much value to the relationship and the girl doesn't accept or use that value, or, just doesn't show her gratitude to that value, that's disrespect. That's major disrespect. There's girls out there that will see you as a high-value male. They won't play games with you. They'll just want to genuinely be with you because they know that you are going to compliment them and they will compliment you. It's a parallel, okay? It's a parallel. You should, two of you should be going up parallel. You should not be intersecting. I do believe in relationships. I am purple pill. I'm not red pill. I do believe in relationships. I do believe in love, but I don't think I believe of being in love with somebody anymore. Because when you're in love with somebody, you become the worker. You become not the foundation, but you just are lower and she is higher. It should be like this, man. It should be even, Steven. A healthy relationship consists of both parties doing an equal amount of work. It should not be one is doing more than the other, or one is spoiling the other all the time. It's not right, man. I've done it. I've been there before. I've gone broke over it before. I've been depressed over it before. I tried to spoil every single one of my girls that I've been with. And look where it put me. It put me back in the single zone, the friend zone, the depressed zone. I've been let down every single time with each of these girls because I gave them too much, too fast. And on top of that, I used emotional reasoning, not logical reasoning. And I only thought about one outcome instead of multiple outcomes. And that's the problem with society. They are trying to dumb down the male gender. They are trying to show males that they are not in control, that they are not in power. When in reality is, what nature tended for us to do was to be in power, was to be in the driver's seat, was to succeed, was to really focus on our grind, on our purpose. You should not have to depend on a woman to guide you. You are your own guide. You are your own boss. You are your own man. Focus on what you want, get it, and never settle, and keep going. And that's another thing. I want to talk about, never settling. You got to remain hungry, because that's how you continue to build your purpose. Continue to be hungry, guys. I think that's one of the best advice that I've I've ever heard is that you need to stay on your grind, you got to stay on your purpose. I'm 28 years old, guys. I'm lonely, you know, but I'm getting better at dealing with this loneliness because this girl, we parted ways a month ago, been lonely because I don't have a girl walking around here. I love female company, by the way, and I'm sure you do too, which is why it feels like when I'm on my own because I don't have that female companion with me. You can't rely on somebody else to bring you your happiness. You're responsible for your own happiness. And that's something that I'm learning. I'm going to therapy for it. I'm learning about it. I'm getting better at it. I will always enjoy a female companion, always. But something I got to put the brakes on is emotionally investing in her. And if you're watching this video, I'm sure you're in the same shoes as I am. You're emotionally investing way too much, way too fast. Your emotional investments should be on you and not on her. Love her, but don't be in love with her. You can buy her presents every now and then, yeah, for like Christmas or whatever, but if you do too much, if you spoil her, you're not going to be the catch anymore. You're going to be too easy. And then she's going to start looking at other options. And that's exactly what happened to me, guys. Multiple times. I've had zero in my bank account because of how much I spent on the girls that I was with. Extravagant dinners and shows and going on trips, not even looking at how much I was spending because I just didn't care. I wanted her to be happy. And most of the time, when she was happy, I was extremely anxious because I knew the repercussions of what I was doing. And that was putting me in a financial lock. She was happy. She was. But guess what? She wanted more and more and more and more and more. So I went into debt. More and more and more. You have to put an emotional regulator on yourself, guys. Start thinking logically. Start thinking about the other outcomes, not just the one solid outcome, which is rejection, because you are the catch. I hope this video makes sense. I know I'm going back and forth here, but if you are going to take away something from this video, I just want you to remember that you are the man. You got to focus on what you want, focus on your purpose. The female that you like should be there with you by your side if you want them to be, but they should not be intersecting or standing in the way of what you want. They should be helping you getting what you want, because at the end of the day, if they help you get what you want, they're going to get what they want. And that is a successful man who knows his purpose and who is always going to be a catch for them. They are not going to be with somebody women do not want to be with somebody who wants to settle. That's the cold hard truth. They don't want to settle. They're constantly looking for a challenge. And if they see that you're constantly growing and constantly wanting more and more and more and more and more from your purpose, they're going to see that as a challenge, and then they're going to want to chase you even harder. It's backwards, guys. It's completely backwards from what we were brought up thinking. Women want a challenge. And so should you. That challenge is going to be coming from your purpose, guys. That's your challenge. Women should not be a challenge for you. You're going to be a challenge for them, but they're not going to be a challenge for you. And once you get on your purpose and you start realizing what's going on, you'll know. You'll know, because after this video, guys, I'm not going to be making those same mistakes anymore. I'm going to become the high value male that I want to become. And I'm going to be the catch. I'm going to be the catch because all this time I brought way more to the table than they did. And until you meet somebody that brings just as much as you, they're not worthy of you. They're not worthy of your time. It's even Steven. Both of you have to turn your keys, not just one. Leave that beta mindset behind. Become that purple or red pill. And one of the things you have to understand is until you do that, you will always be in the passenger seat.